Hey everybody, George Streicher here, again with another video breakdown, this time for the Main Street Stride video and music. This was honestly my favorite one so far. This certainly took the longest, over a month to write, record, and then build all these final graphics. So I'm just going to take you guys through the layout and sort of these comps here in After Effects of the Main Street Stride graphics, and then I'll take you through the stems of the final mix so you guys can kind of hear what everybody's doing. The unique thing about this video is, of course, that it was recorded live. All the instruments are live, all the players are live, with the exception of a few, namely the rhythm section, which was all sampled, synthesized orchestra. But everybody you see here in these silhouettes are the actual players, and they are all actually playing their parts to the song. I had them all record themselves against a green screen or a solid white wall wearing dark clothing, and then I keyed and treated and composited these guys into this graphic that I designed here, all within After Effects. So I guess to start out, I'm going to break down all the different layers of this thing. I'm going to go here to my initial comp before I put it over the final background and treatment. I, of course, have all of my silhouettes here that I arranged in the four corners and then here in the center. This actually design went through a couple of different variations. Initially, it was, I don't know what I was thinking, but then, through a little trial and error, I eventually landed on how it looks now. Now, the whole point of this video was to emulate the sights and sounds of course, Main Street USA at the Disney parks. Namely Disneyland. So initially I was doing a lot of research into the looks, the color schemes, the text styles, the architecture, and I sort of nailed it down to this sort of crown molding frame, as you can see here. I used this great panoramic photo that someone created of a composite of a bunch of different photos of Main Street to really get an idea of the color palette and the overall tone of all the buildings on Main Street. So most of you guys have been asking me how I created the silhouettes. Well, it was really quite simple. It just required a few steps. And of course, the first step would be getting the footage from the musicians. Here's the example of Mark Popigan. He's the trumpet player from the video. A really awesome guy. Go check out his channel here on YouTube. He was luckily able to film himself against a green screen with pretty decent lighting, which made the key super, super simple. Then through some keying, masking, adding a few plugins, doing some mask cleanup, and then dropping the curves really low to create this completely black silhouette, I was able to get a really clean image that I could then shape and place into my final comp. Now, of course, in some of these cases, I had to actually go through and track and mask some of the instruments that disappeared in the keying process. Unfortunately, the brass instruments are very reflective, so they picked up a lot of the green, and I was unable to really kind of dial back the spill on those, so I had to go back and manually replace some of the body that was missing. But luckily, this was all in silhouette and completely black, so I could get away with a lot. As far as the rest of it goes, these are just shapes and various borders and stuff that I just made in After Effects using the pen tool or the shape tool. Again, I pulled all of these color schemes off of looking at pictures of Main Street and all this kind of Victorian ragtime era decor and color schemes. And all of these little Victorian kind of floral pattern ornaments are just stock footage, things I got online. For the final comp, like I said, I was trying to emulate signs and buildings that I'd see on Main Street, and a lot of them have this sort of crown molding. Of course, they get a little more ornate than this, but I still wanted to kind of have some sort of border and framing device for all of this to give it some depth and texture. And I also added a little paper texture to the final comp to also sell the idea of it being a paper cutout silhouette art. Well, that's pretty much it for the graphics end. I'm going to go ahead and take you guys now through the stems for the Main Street Stride, the final mix where we can go through all the individual instrument sections, and you guys can hear the live players and all their glory. These guys did a really amazing job, and I can't wait to do something like this again. So here we go on the final stems for the Main Street Stride.
wish to be on Main Street. For simplicity I long. How I wish to stroll its shaded paths and to hum a cheerful song. A horse-drawn carriage carries us throughout the sunny day. How I wish to be on Main Street, hometown USA.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you're all staying safe, and keep an eye out for the next video based on music from the Disney parks. I got a couple other ideas coming up that I'm currently working on, and these are a lot of fun, so stay tuned.